we spoke before you guys took off for Vegas. You were quick to not downplay the significance of these games, even though they're not in conference play, because you said that overall record could be a factor in terms of maybe getting an at-large bid for the region tournament, things of that nature. I guess overall, just considering how many games you won and lost and what you saw, overall so far so good. Still early in the season, but did you notice the positives that you were hoping to see?
Yeah, we saw a lot of good things, and we saw a few things that we really need to shore up as well. I think we started 4 new players, in our lineup, and we didn't field the ball as well as we should have. We had a 3-year starter at shortstop in Allie Sagan, and losing her we knew was going to be, anytime you lose a player of that caliber is hard, but it wasn't just at shortstop. We had a few errors at third and 1 at first and 3 or 4 at second. So defensively, the ground balls, were a problem. We had too many errors. But as far as hitting the ball and our offense and our base running and all the other aspects of the game, I thought we performed very well.
It's got to be pleasing to at least identify something that, sure, you need to work on it, but it seems like it would be something that would just take repetition. I mean, it's not like a mental thing, it's fielding ground balls.
Right, and it was a hard infield and a lot of 2-hoppers that were high hoppers, and you either had to charge hard and get the short hop or back a step and then have a cannon for an arm, and a lot of tough plays that were scored as errors, but even so, just getting comfortable with the new double play combination, and we used 2 freshmen at shortstop on the trip, and Daniela Carbajal and Lauren Cowden. So I think they'll get better and better and better and more comfortable. When it's your first college game or your first 2-3 college games of your life, not only is it a tough position to play and stuff, but it's different. And with more time, they'll get more and more comfortable. And to go along with that, our number 1 pitcher, Jen Spencer, she throws ground ball after ground ball after ground ball. She's got a great hard drop, and you have to be solid defensively when you have pitchers going like that. So it's not like we're going to go out and strike out 13, 14 players on the other team each game. We have to play defense, so it's a huge part of the game. And I think that, the first game got away from us. It was 3-1, I think, final. We had our chances, but if we performed defensively, all 3 of those runs that we gave up were unearned, and so we didn't help Spencer out that game. But that's a huge part of it, and I think that identifying that problem right away, we'll work twice as hard as we can on our infield defense.
How about your performances on the mound? Did you like all weekend?
Yeah, I liked what I saw pitching-wise, but we didn't get to use our pitchers as much as we'd liked. We only used Cornejo 1 inning the second day. She came in and got a save on a big comeback, and we didn't use Spencer at all the last day because she was having some soreness in her bicep and swelled up a little. And we expect Cornejo and Spencer to be our 1 and 2. So we pitched our 3 and 4 quite a bit. Ramirez did a good job for us, and Prigge came in and gave us 2 or 3 innings, and then we ended up coming with a huge comeback. So she was part of that win against Azusa Pacific, a very good team. And so we got to see our entire pitching staff, and we didn't use our starters as much as we wanted to.
You touched on it a little bit. That's something I was going to ask. Considering the pitchers that you have, pitchers that are reliable, but as you said, probably not going to be expected to come out and strike out 15, 16 batters a game. I mean, it might happen, but certainly not something you're banking on. Does that make infield defense and just defense in general, not committing errors, all the more important? Because I think you've shown that you can score runs, but I mean, is perhaps the most important aspect of your team winning games is making the plays that you're expected to make.
Yeah, especially up the middle, shortstop and second base. You're going to get a lot of action at those spots, and not only fielding the ground ball, but you have to be there for. If the bunt is on, you got to cover bases, and if they're stealing, you got to cover bases, and who's going where, and if there's a runner on first and third, and they steal part way and try getting the hot box, or there's so many infield calls and defense that they'll get more comfortable, I'm sure, and they'll end up being fine. But to perform the way we did on the trip, it's just an indication that we just need to sharpen it up and get mentally tougher and get more experience and get comfortable with where we are. I mean, they've been good players in the past. Rachel Burdett started for 2 years at second base for us, and she struggled a little bit on defensively, but it was great to see how she didn't take it to at bat with her. She had 8 hits down there, and she drove in a pile of runs and had a great tournament hitting the ball. And I believe in her at second base. She'll be fine. So it's just a total package. You know, you have to do everything in the aspect of the game well, and that was just one thing that we didn't do well on the trip. And it's the first 5 games of the year, so you know we'll get better.
Offensively, are you confident in the lineup? I know you're probably changing some things up in the first games of the season, but are you confident in your team's ability to score runs? Do you expect that to be a strength of yours?
Yes, I do. We've always come up with good hitters, and they've always improved throughout the season. And the thing is, the top 7 or 8 teams in the Northern Sun are probably better pitching-wise than all the teams in Las Vegas. And it's early for us Northern teams. The best teams in our league, Augie was down in Vegas. They went 1-4. They might be the best team in our league. Concordia St. Paul was down in Vegas, and they went 1-4. Mary was down in Vegas, and they went 0-5. And we were in Vegas, and we went 3-2. But those teams, at the end of the year, are going to beat those teams that were down in Vegas. It was the first time out on the field for us and all these other teams. And when you have a lot of teams, a lot of players new on your team, like Augie does, and Minot State and Mary, new coach at Mary as well, you know, we're going to improve a lot more than I think those other teams are. So it's really a great tournament to go out and see what you have and see what you need to work on and compare yourself to the other teams that are really good. So I'm really happy with our trip. I wish we'd have gotten that first game. Of all the 5 teams we played down there, I thought we would probably win that game, and we didn't. And then we beat a couple teams I thought were really going to be tough. Like I said in the last time we were here interviewing, Azusa Pacific's a great team. I said, I don't know how we've beaten them every year down there. And they were ahead of us by 5 runs in the 7th inning, and somehow we came back and beat them again. So they probably won't want to play us anymore. But it was a total team effort, and the team grew a lot. You know, there was a lot of new players that, you know, to go on the road and stay in a different room and get to know your teammates and be on a bus for 24 hours and stuff. It was a great thing for our team to come together as a family. Happy softball teams win a lot more games than unhappy softball teams. And right now, I think we're going to develop into a pretty good team.